My name is Manny, and I'm here with Victoria,
Hi all.
and we're reviewing The Wolf and the Lion. Um, Film last year will be out in theaters or video pretty shortly.
I
I don't
think
think
it's out now. I think it came out last week.
last week. Okay,
Yeah.
came out very recently. Um, the, the plot of the story really is about a young girl who lost her grandfather and sort of now living in his old cabin, and it so happens to adopted a baby lion and a baby wolf, and
Not intentionally adopted. Kind of the lion dropped into her arms.
literally.
Literally, like it fell out of the plane and then fell from a tree into her arms.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
so yeah, there's some adventures. Obviously there's some difficulty in trying to keep a wolf and a lion and secure, and then it gets kidnapped, and they get kidnapped. And they come back. Um, we'll try not to spoil it too much. Um, so yeah, I don't recognize any of the actors in it. Graham Greene, though, I have seen his work before as an actor in different roles. Um, Molly Kunz, who plays Alma.
Coons. I think it's Coons.
Kunz.
Yeah, I haven't heard of anyone. I did look up that. God, don't kill me for this pronunciation. Gilles Demistre, Demistre, Mistre. My French is awful. She was the. Nope, he was the director, and his wife, I believe her name was Prune, um, also helped like co-write it. But they've been doing stuff since like the 90s, and I haven't heard of it, and I think it's because it's out of Canada, and we haven't really gotten a lot of like Canadian independent films.
Yeah, not too much. At least not in mainstream. Um,
Yeah. So I mean I know they've been working on like they've been working for a long time, so it's not like completely unknown people. Um
hmm. Yeah, Graham Greene, who I
yeah.
mentioned before, was in The Green Mile, Wind River, Dances with Wolves. Um, so he's been acting for a long time. Um,
Yeah.
so so yeah. So I guess before we talk about the tone and the themes of the movie, what did you think of it?
I and you know me, I really love animals. And like baby wolf, baby lion, dream team. I wanted to like this movie so much, but it was not great. I could and being in like film and television, I understand what they were trying to get across when they were doing it, like oh the animal rights, um, and like cruelty to animals in the circus and how that should be stopped and all this. But it's like they crammed that into the hour and 39-minute runtime, and it like didn't click. Like there's too much going on. But the animals were really cute and they were real.
Hmm.
So that like I guess if you like animals, I would definitely watch it, but maybe like listen to music and not watch the acting.
Well, speaking of acting, I have to say I am impressed at how well they train the animals for this film. For these films, I've heard that children and animals are the hardest thing to direct in movies. Um,
Yeah, they're
you know,
so hard to so I did a little background research because I did want to see if like all the animal stuff was real or if they did do CGI, and they like the director definitely didn't want any CGI, so they ended up finding a reserve in Canada that he dealt with wolves, and they got the lion and the wolf to like be raised together. Um, and they ended up having to like work around what the animals would do. So it caused them to like have to change storyline stuff because they're wild animals. It's not like a dog where you can train it to do the specific thing, or like oh you're just having an elephant walk through the scene. Like they needed the animals to do specific things, so they ended up like having to like work with them. Um, but also they had to like the main actress, Molly, what was her last name? Coons.
Coons.
Um, who played Alma, she had to like my dog's in the background. Um, she ended up meeting the two animals when they were cubs at the reserve and having to like over a year and a half go and like constantly be with them to like develop that sort of relationship where she could work with them. So, I mean, they did do a lot of work to make sure that like the animals were safe, the actors were safe. They were working like they had the people at the reserve that had been dealing with all these animals there. They ended up putting like barriers around wherever their sets were, so everyone was like really safe. It's really nice to hear that they're not like abusing animals in the film industry. Like I feel like you see so many bad things about like how they treat animals, and this was like just so professionally done. So I really like I appreciate that and the fact that they're all real animals, like to show um how they really react with each other and not just kind of a made up story.
Yeah, I think if this was CGI'd, I will have absolutely no interest in this movie
Yeah,
at
neither
all.
would I. Yeah,
Yeah,
because you'd be like, this, why would this happen? Like this would never happen.
yeah,
Um, so
yeah,
it definitely like made it more realistic because it was real.
yeah. Yeah, I would say honestly, that's probably the best part of the film for me. The story isn't bad. It's full of tropes. It doesn't, it doesn't. I've seen, so I feel like this movie is almost like 20 years too late. Like I remember seeing movies like
Yeah,
this as a kid, like on the old Disney channels or PBS, things like that. Like it just has that theme of back when I think back then there was much more movies about like think about the animals, think about taking care of them. So this feels very, I don't want to say archaic. It's not that. It just it feels very old school, I guess you could say, in that
yeah,
sense.
like it's just a few years too late.
Yeah, you
But I
know.
wonder if that had anything to do with like them having to change the storyline of like don't do this to animals kind of thing. Because like it started off and you're like, oh, like you get it. She's like going to take care of her father's house and she gets these animals and like again, I don't want to ruin anything for anyone, but like she plays piano and like she's supposed to go to this really fancy school and like you're like, oh, okay, I see where it's going. And then at the end it's just like complete turn and you're like, that's how it ends? Like what?
Yeah, it's very it's very it's a feel good movie, I would say. It's I feel like it's a movie that if you like animals and you just want to see animals like honestly just hang out and play,
Yeah.
I think if you love that, then that movie's great. If you're looking for like a deep story, you're not gonna
It's
really
like
gonna
they
find
just
that.
did, yeah, but they were so close. It's like they just didn't hit the mark. Like they got, I felt like every time they were getting to a point because they dealt with like cruelty of the lion and the circus and dealing with that, and then all of a sudden, like some kids just like, Dad, we shouldn't do this, and the dad's like, you're right. And then that was the end of the scene. And I was like, wait, why did I just have to watch 15 minutes of that for it to just end that quickly? Like it could have been cut out and it would have been different. Like it wouldn't have been any different.
Yeah,
So
like it's almost like
I felt like a lot of those little things that were like, why does this need to be in here? Like you could have focused on so much more and gotten a stronger story out of it than trying to put all these little things into it.
yeah, I'm wondering if this is the target audience, maybe like young kids. Like I was thinking about that scene where um, she was trying to warn two people when they were picking flowers and getting on the ball about, and she trips and falls on the rock and knocks herself out.
Yeah.
The way that was filmed, to me when I saw that, I felt bad. I almost wanted to laugh at how weirdly directed and how that was shot. 'Cause it just seemed,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking like, okay, if I was a kid, maybe if this was for kids, obviously they wanted to pull back on the, what a serious head trauma type of scenario might look like. Um, that's the only things I can think of why the tone of it seems very light.
Yeah, it was just I don't really understand what they were trying to do because it seemed like they tried to dull everything down and I'm like, no, you need more drama for this to mean more.
Yeah.
because like that was supposed to show, oh, the animals love her, like they've bonded with her, they're gonna stay with her. But I don't know. Well, maybe I guess it had to do with like as much as these animals are bonded with you, they can't save you. Because they sat with her, but that was
Mm.
it. Like they didn't go do anything. So
Yeah,
that could have had something to do with it. Like maybe like, oh, yes, they're cute and they stay with you and like they love you, but you can't, like, they're not gonna save you.
yeah, they're not Lassie.
Yeah, yeah. Like it had like a more like real reaction of how animals would react. Like they would just be like, okay, this is sad. I
All right.
can't help you. I don't have thumbs.
Okay. So would you recommend this movie to other people?
Oh, I want to say yes. I really wanted to like it. I like told you when I watched the trailer, I like cried during it because they was like the animals are so cute, and I'm so jealous of this girl who got to like play with the real animals all day. But it just wasn't good. Maybe like if like you're waiting for your next series to come out on Netflix, like maybe in the downtime, watch it. But I wouldn't go out of your way to watch it. Would
Mm.
you?
Unfortunately, myself personally, I'm more into like really grim, dark, or strange comedies. I have a very weird sense of stuff. So this just seems too tame, way too tame for me. I think this is something that if someone said, "Hey, I need to bring, I want to take a movie to a classroom or to a church," this is the movie. Like especially with animals.
Ooh, I could
Animals.
definitely see this as like a church movie.
Yeah,
This would be
yeah,
like a free movie on a Sunday
yeah.
afternoon kind of
Yes,
movie. Um, which is really like it's really sad because I do think they had like a lot of good things that they could have worked on, like again the circus cruelty, um, eh, the relationship between wild animals and humans. But then they just added all this other stuff and it just didn't work.
yeah,
So that was
yeah,
sad.
yeah, yeah. It's. I do wish it was better, but hmm, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only two places I could ever take. If someone recommended it to me, this is the only where I would show it, honestly. Um,
Yeah, I wouldn't probably pay to go see it at the movie theater. I would probably just like watch it at home if I didn't have anything else to watch. And I
yes.
didn't really want to pay attention.
Y-
Um, but yeah. I mean it was like again, like there were good parts of it. Like again, hearing or not hearing, I guess, reading about how they took all these safety precautions, especially with dealing with wild animals and having the reserve work with them because that's where the animals live now. The wolf and the lion both live at the reserve in Canada. Um, but they also had like a couple other ones. But they like all those animals live at the reserve because they knew that once they were bonded, they couldn't be separated. So hearing that they were like so on top of making sure things were safe, especially with like all the stuff coming out about how sets are not safe anymore, like it's just it's really like nice to hear that they like actually took care of their crew and their animals and all that kind of stuff. It was shot beautifully. Like there was really beautiful shots in it. Because I think it was shot in Canada,
yeah,
and it was like a like not a busy part of Canada. Um, so I mean, there were some good things about it, but not the acting was really like I don't even think it was the acting. It was just like reading the lines. Like
yeah.
it felt like they were just reading out of a script and just didn't have any emotion. So it was I wanted it to be better.
I hope that the lion and the wolf in that movie in this movie, hope they have. I hope they're not like caged up somewhere. I hope that it follows. That won't be like Free Willy, where they kept the whale in captivity for like ages until they finally released.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that those that made the movie really do believe in the themes and that they actually let the animals free at the end.
Yeah, they well they I think because they were born in captivity and because they're such an odd bond pair that I don't think they can be released back into the wild. But I like they do live on this reserve, this large reserve, and they're together. So it's not like they're in tiny little cages and people like poke sticks through the cages. I don't know how big the reserve is though. Um,
Oh, wait, it's about like in real life or in the movie?
in real life, they live
Oh,
on a reserve. Yeah,
oh, that's great. No, I didn't know that. I thought,
yeah. So because they're real animals, they needed to get real animals, so they ended up having. I don't know if they. I don't know how the cub and the wolf met. I don't know that part. That part seems a little weird to me. Like, did they have a cub and they tried to see if it would get along with the wolf, um, or whatever? But they ended up having the cub and the wolf, and in real life they're a bonded pair. So they live on this reserve, and that's like they live together. I don't know. Again, I don't know how big it is, but based on what like I read about how they were doing stuff with safety, I would assume that the reserve is actually pretty nice. They
okay,
so, I mean that's they have a reserve in the film, so maybe that's the same one. And if you look at it, it is caged, but it's like huge few miles of land that they get to live on.
okay. But
They're
that would
just
make sense of how or where I like the setting where they were filming it. Um,
yeah, you know that because they have the wolf reserve in the story. I think that might be the
yeah,
same reserve. That would make sense to me.
yeah, yeah. They would
So it's
they
not
would.
like yeah, it's not like they're like getting treated poorly or anything like that. Like they everyone seems to care a lot about them.
Hmm. Okay.
So
So I think that's it. So anyone watching, thank you for watching review. Again, this movie is out now.
if you have a kid, bring your kid to see it.
Yes.
But you're going to be a little bored. Just pay attention to the animals.
Indeed, indeed. And that's a great way to end this. So yep. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.
Later, nerds.